Well, today's episode is a special edition. What I'd like to do is go around and interview different people and give you some insights about the trade shows. Well, starting in January, it becomes trade show season. If you're in the swine industry, you get to start out with Banff, one of my favorite places to go. But no, I didn't go this year. And then you're followed with Iowa pork, IPPE, Minnesota pork, and then the list goes on of all the different states out there. And so there's a lot that happens at these trade shows, and I always get questions. What was it like? Who was there? What was the vibe? And so I want to share with you 4 interviews I did from IPPE. If you'd rather watch the interview on the video format, you can get that on our YouTube channel, Coffee in the Barn podcast. But I also want to share it on audio in case you're driving like me, and this is when you get to listen to things. But I really want to thank our sponsors for these special interviews at IPPE, and that's Profile Animal Health. They went above and beyond. They created the nice little nook for me to record, and it was really great. So we're going to start off the first interview with Nathan Hillis with Profile, and then we're going to visit with Dr. Alexander Strauch with 4-Star Veterinarian Group, then Jordyn Studer with Barentz, and then ended out with Tommy with Alimentrix for IPPE. And then after that, we're going to talk to Morgan because she attended Iowa pork with me and Minnesota pork. And we're going to talk about the lower than usual crowds and why I got snowed out of Missouri pork. So that's kind of what the special edition is on Coffee in the Barn. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to IPPE 2025. I am here at the Profile Animal Health booth with Nathan Hillis. Welcome, Nathan.
Hey, nice to have you with us, and I'm glad that we got a chance to sit down, Casey.
Definitely. And tell us what to expect from Profile and give us a little bit of background of Profile and while you're here at a poultry show.
Okay, so Profile kind of started about 60 years ago in the clay technologies business, servicing sports fields, baseball fields. Then we kind of moved to the horticulture side and some of the erosion control products. About 4 years ago, we decided we want to jump in the animal health space, and honestly, in 4 years, we've really moved from what we had a feed additive to now we have a litter amendment product. And then this year, I'm really excited to announce we have a new dust mitigation product as well.
Well, explain dust, because normally you use water or oil, right? Dust?
Yeah, so if you're using water, you're doing it multiple times a day to mitigate that dust. Our product actually is not an oil-based, it's a plant-based product. You put that product down once a week, and it will last, through moderate traffic areas for the entirety of a week. It could last up to 2 weeks as well.
Well, and dust mitigation is probably one of the most important things I found out from a biosecurity standpoint in having viruses or the dust coming into barns.
Absolutely. As soon as you start to vent that barn, you've got dust from outside coming in. In our world of biosecurity challenges we always have, that dust mitigation is very important around a farm, especially outside. We mitigate the dust in the house a lot of times by controlling the moisture in our litter, which is what environmental care does. But the Dust RX product that we have that we're launching, it really does a great job at mitigating that dust outside.
Incredible. So let's talk a little bit more about, it's been 2 years or more since we connected we were talking about mycotoxins and, of course, the clay. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we have a pretty powerful one in that field with PowerGuard in the U.S. or TerraShield internationally. But that's not what I bought first from you.
No, the first thing you bought, you called me and said, hey, I got some water in this house. How can I fix my water problem? How can I fix the mud holes inside the house? And that's where environmental care come in is we've been mitigating the moisture on sports fields for years. So that's our strength. So environmental care just kind of plays into our strength. We take our knowledge of mitigating moisture in sports field arenas and putting it inside the house. If we mitigate that moisture, as you well know, then we're mitigating the bacterial growth inside that litter are inside that barn as well.
Now, I'm going to warn you, audience, it doesn't fix broken water lines. So it can just help clean it up after the fact, okay? But if your staff is missing broken water lines, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we've also since then, obviously, I tried your product, ended up loving it. It facilitated, it helped. I don't know if it solved it. I still have broken water lines from mismanagement. But other than that, we've been working together for 2 years, and it's been a fun, exciting relationship. And kind of why did you choose to work with Animistic as your technical support in the industry?
So what Profile does is we care about the industry. We're not just out to sell something. We want to add value to the industry. So we choose to partner with people that have a passion for the industries they serve. And Casey, you align well with that motto. Is we look at, do you care about the animals? Are you doing it for the animals? Are you doing it for the money? That's the first question we typically ask people. And I know you will. You're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for the betterment of the industry. So that's why we want to be part of that journey. And again, when we talk about fixing the problems with water lines and stuff like that, yes, that's an animal husbandry thing that we educate alongside selling that product to someone. I walk into a house and I see a drinker line leaking. I'm going to say something about that. Say, hey, if you can fix that, that's going to help problems. I'm not making any money by doing that, but at the end of the day, it's helping the industry.
Well, definitely. So obviously we're working together. 2025, I think, may become a bigger year into 2026 with some other partnerships we're bringing to the table to go beyond just moisture control, dust control, but potentially ammonia and pathogen control in the litter as well.
So while we offer OMRI-listed organic products such as environmental care, these new relationships you're talking about are very exciting because I think it's going to take products like environmental care to the next level.
I definitely think it is, and we have to think outside of the box. And I would say everybody wants to go into the feed, but we could probably solve a lot of problems if we handle the litter right. And environmental care has shown that so far, but taking that even to the next level, I'm really excited about.
I am really fired up about it. It's kind of like, the PowerGuard product we had when we first started this journey. We're finding new uses for that every day. And, I think you and I talked a little bit about the avian influenza issues in the dairy side and how our product, our PowerGuard's playing a role in helping those cows get over those challenges. And that's something that we are very proud that we're able to be part of that. I wouldn't call it a solution, but actually a product or a program that's actually helping the farmer get those cows over that hurdle of avian influenza.
Yeah, and we're not going to cure or prevent avian influenza, but really it is when that happens, she's a high-performing dairy cow, she's very stressed, and it's the secondary pathogens that have been really causing that reduction in milk or mortality events.
Exactly.
And so I like how you said it's part of a solution because a lot of times you'll come down here and it's all about a product, and it's really, how do you pair? How do you find those partners? And that is why I'm excited and animistic to be working with Profile Animal Health on the next level of solutions for our industry.
Absolutely. And, I think it's very important for our industry. I think we're moving towards that organic side through all the industry. So I'm just tickled that I'm very happy that we're able to be part of that, and we offer, every product we offer is an organic product. If you have organic farm, you can use every one of our products. If you're a commercial farm, you can use our product and still get benefit out of it as well. So having having solutions or having products that can go across a broad range of needs is very important to us. And I think it's important for us in the future to continue to kind of promote that process or promote that industry of organic production.
Well, I'm really excited. Thank you. The show's starting. We better get to work.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Casey.
Thanks. Sitting with Dr. Alex Strauch, a fellow Spartan with Star Veterinarian Services. So, Alex, welcome to IPPE.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, what brings you down to IPPE? I mean, talk to us about your history here and why you come to IPPE.
IPPE for me is the Super Bowl of conferences. We make it an absolute number one priority to be down here every year, at least me plus another one of my veterinarians. So being a private poultry veterinarian, providing services to commercial poultry companies, there's a lot of producers here, and there's a lot of allied industry here, and everything else in between. So everybody meets here. That's why I'm here, and we're here right now.
Sorry, when was your first IPPE?
Oh, 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Only 3 years.
Yes, I've been practicing for 8 years, but I've been in independent private practice for the last 3. So That's when I started coming on my own volition.
Awesome. So obviously we have a lot of problems going on in the poultry industry. Can you kind of talk about the different challenges your producers are dealing with today?
I'll keep it short and sweet. I'd say that specifically in the laying hen industry, over the last year and a half, there's been a significant amount of mitigation measures taken against infectious coryza, which is Avibacterium paragallinarum. It's a bacteria, and it is a forever bacteria. So multi-age layer complexes or multi-age pullet complexes, if they have been exposed to coryza, have needed to rethink their vaccination programs. And I've been on the front line of that in the Midwest for about the last 2 years. And that's coryza. Of course, the big boogeyman in the room is HPAI, highly pathogenic avian influenza. So I'd say 50% of my time, energy, and effort the last couple months has been in preventative measures for clients and re-bolstering our biosecurity programs, not just chemical and physical, but administrative and operational biosecurity measures as well. And let's see here. The third topic that's very interesting to people is the general cage-free transition. So I've cut my teeth in specialty egg production and cage-free laying hen management. And as more and more people either transition their complexes to cage-free or expand into specialty cage-free production, I'm right there alongside them with management and medicine programs to fit the very new, or the very different health and management challenges that affect cage-free laying hen.
What's better than a great cup of coffee? A great coffee mug to match your personality while you listen to the next episode of Coffee in the Barn. At Buy Blackett, we've got mugs that'll make you laugh, smile, and show off your unique style, all while keeping your coffee warm. Whether you're into heartwarming messages or hilarious designs, there's something for everyone. Plus, every purchase supports Coffee in the Barn and helps us keep bringing you the content you love. So grab your next favorite mug today. Visit buyblackett.com/animistic and use the promo code animistic for exclusive deals. Let's type that out because there's 2 T's in this. So the website again is www.buyblackett.com/ANIMISTIC. Buy Blackett. Funny mugs, unique vibes, and you're supporting your favorite podcast.
So obviously I come from the swine world, you come from the poultry world. We cross paths and work together. What are some of the things you're doing on a biosecurity standpoint from the operations that's changing compared to what we see every day?
Right. In the past, we've always had pretty stringent biosecurity protocols when it comes to employees and visitors. And what we've had to add to these exclusionary biosecurity protocols is not just no poultry contact, no swine contact, but we've actually added cattle exclusionary clauses into our employee biosecurity contracts. And that also goes for visitors too. HPAI decided to jump over into the H5, decided to jump over into dairy cattle, obviously within the last year, and that has completely changed the dynamics of transmission and risk. So that's one example of an operational measure that we've adapted to recently.
Man, there goes my hobby farm. Someday.
Cost of business. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I'll stick with the cats. I guess what is some opportunities? Obviously, you think we talk about the grim, the nasty that we have to deal with, the problems, right? What are some opportunities that you see in the poultry industry?
The one that I'm most excited about and most passionate about is laying hen companies getting on a digital real-time flock management platform where they can analyze their flock performance data and their metrics either remotely, digital, and as close to real-time as possible. I feel that that is going to be the biggest differentiator of those who succeed and those who fall behind in the next couple of years are those who are amenable to digital flock record systems. They make my job easier, they make me more efficient, and they make management better at doing what they do on a daily basis. You got to collect your data, you got to digitize it, you got to centralize it, and then you have to appropriately visualize it and analyze it on either a daily or weekly basis. Weekly at the minimum.
So we're on the same page here, Wavelength.
We're big data nerds, yeah.
Data nerds. Well, we can be nerds and like animals.
Yes.
But, well, I appreciate your time here at IPPE, and we look forward to visiting again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Here with Jordyn with Barentz.
Hi.
Can you give us a little bit of background of Barentz and the different products you're representing this week?
So Barentz is a feed additive company. We are based out of Woodbury, Minnesota. We have a large commodity business up there. We move a lot of phosphates, a lot of sodium bicarbonate, stuff like that. But we have recently been getting more into the value-added products and feed additive space. So we currently have 3 yeast products: a live yeast, a yeast cell wall, a selenium yeast, a phytase enzyme, and a xylanase enzyme. And one of the really cool new products that we're launching is Kolin Plus.
Kolin Plus!
It's a greener alternative to choline chloride. Really, really cool. The enthusiasm is warranted. It's a really cool product. So, been excited to be a part of that product launch. And yeah, great company.
All right. So, audience, I did evaluate Kolin Plus, and I'm like, it has to come to market. Things didn't align star-wise, but now you get to work with the lovely Derry Brown.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I love Derry Brown. Yeah. She is amazing. Couldn't ask for a better boss or a better person to head up our sales and technical team. So, Derry is super awesome, super fun to work with.
And if you didn't know, Derry helped train me of things probably not to do, maybe not so much things to do, but, you know, we had a lot of mixed words over pigs and poop and you name it, but we go way back. But it's really exciting to see Derry with the new team.
Mm-hmm.
You got Brian. Mm-hmm. You're new and fresh.
Yeah,
I mean,
6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
Wow.
I know.
Has it only been 6 months?
It's really only been 6 months, yeah.
Oh, like a
it's
flown.
My first day was May 28th. So like really my first week was at World Pork.
Yeah. World Pork, I guess.
And I guess that's in June, yeah, and
we're poultry, but you know, still gotta support the pig.
Yeah, it's been fun getting into the swine space a little bit more. So most of my background has obviously been in poultry with my master's in poultry nutrition. And then at a previous employer, I was more mixed species, did some dairy, a little bit of swine, and still really heavy poultry focused. But it's been fun to work with Barentz and work with our swine sales guys and work with dairy to get more stuff done on the swine side. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
But you still like the feathers, right?
I love the feathers.
Yeah.
Especially laying hens. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about Kolin Plus. Obviously, we're fans and excited, but they don't know anything about it.
So Kolin Plus is a 100% phytogenic product. It is a very, very pure product that is harvested at a specific time, grown in a specific way to ensure the proper levels of the phytoactives. So the 4 phytoactives in the product are curcumin, catechin, which is like a green tea, the phytoactive in green tea, different polyphenols, and then gallic acid. And then the other part of Kolin Plus, which helps aids in being more of a choline replacer, is a defatted soy lecithin, which is a source of phosphatidylcholine and phospholipids. So what this product does is it is a much lower dose compared to standard choline chloride. We recommend about a 1/4 replacement rate in broilers, 1/3 to 1/5 in laying hens, still trying to kind of dial that number down. But the mainly mobilizing and metabolizing fat in a more efficient way. Also, ease of use. This thing can be put directly into a VTM. It's not going to degrade your vitamins. It's not going to degrade your minerals. So frees up the microbin space. Don't have to worry about it. You can just put it in your premix and get it in that way. It's a really, really cool product. Our partners over in India had done a lot of previous research on mode of action, and making sure that the levels of those phytoactives are where we need them to be in every batch. So every batch is extremely consistent. They do grass chromatography and HPLC, to ensure the levels of the phytoactives and the phospholipids. And, yeah, it's been a really fun product to launch and excited to work with it.
Have I ever told you my horror story about choline chloride early in my career?
No.
Well, so formulating a premix, I needed to add choline chloride, which we don't like to, right? So this was more of a big premix, go through it fast. So we used it faster. Well, I didn't know that we had a liquid form and a powdered form of choline chloride, and I put like 100 pounds or more in. And I get called into Mr. Kalmbach's office and be like, this would not have worked. This is like a disaster and it's not safe for the employees. Don't worry. Jerry caught it and fixed it before it was a problem. But I'm like, well, nobody told me. It said it was choline chloride 60%, and that's what I used.
Yeah. Oh, man, that could have been really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah.
I've done some really bad stuff.
Hey, that's how you learn.
That's how I learned. I mean, that was, looking back on it, he always used it as a teaching moment. But never getting called into the boss's office because you messed up the formulas. Never fun as a junior nutritionist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would be shaking in my boots if that were me.
Yeah. And so you'll find, if you guys see me out in public, that I do sport the Barentz poultry socks. I have to really highly recommend them, but I've heard only select people get them because there's not that many.
There is a finite supply of the chicken socks. So.
I know. But yes, really great friends of Barentz, customers of ours. So we've done some different market research.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and obviously, great to work with Gary again and getting to know Jordyn. As I laugh at Brian, and we're in the same area, but yet we have to come to Atlanta to see him physically because we're doing a webcam, type stuff. And I'm like, you could have just came to my office, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always funny you have to travel, a few thousand miles, a few hundred miles to see people that are in your backyard.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jordyn, thank you so much for being on here. We look forward to having you again more on our podcast and our YouTube channel. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
Well, we're back at IPPE 2025 with my Finnish friend, Tommy from Allometrics. Welcome to IPPE.
Thanks, Casey. Nice to be here.
Nice to be here. Can you tell us a little bit about Allometrics and the story behind it?
Sure. So, Allometrics, we are now a 22 years old company. We have been operating mainly in the gut health, like gastrointestinal microbiology area. The background lies on the animal nutrition, originally from DuPont, the founder of Allometrics, Juha Apajalahti, who used to work that. But then he created his own business. Okay, we need to have, there's no kind of a player or lab who can do focus in the gastrointestinal health, the microbiology around it. So that's it. 22 years and in operations. And
I can't believe it's been 22 years. We're getting old.
Yeah, that's the thing. And of course, Allometrics has been evolving over the times. Expansion of having animal feeding trials, facilities, broiled chicken, wines, and now the diagnostics unit 7 years ago.
So I first came in, known of Allometrics when I was at AB Vista. So started using those tests and analytics for our gut health product developments. And then since you've kind of grown and now we kind of collaborate together where we can on research, so in different product development. When you think about a lot of people here who necessarily here for poultry, and you think of, well, diagnostics, right? What's the easiest diagnostic collection method? And that's usually feces.
That's right.
And so what are all the things we can get out of feces? I mean, what are we looking for when we're taking those and we're using our products like your biofreeze to preserve it? Like, that's just step one.
Mm-hmm.
What can we all look at and evaluate that tells us what's going on in the bird?
That's a good question. So, of course, if you are allowed only to take non-invasive methods, so meaning feces collection, it restricts the kind of analysis pattern we can utilize in order to study the gut health. But for example, pathogens, that's the easy one. We can analyze from fecal samples the pathogens like Clostridium perfringens, Eimeria, Enterococcus cecorum, you name it.
I'm glad you're a lot better at saying those than I am.
I have been repeating.
Repeating, right? Yeah, just a few times.
Yeah. Also, like different various immunity markers, immune biomarkers. So that's also a possibility. The only challenge it is that everybody is in a search for the ultimate best biomarker for poultry. No one has found it yet, neither have we, but we have a quite good selection of candidates we can utilize.
I was going to say, from being the biomarker girl, there's not just one. It's machine learning and multiple biomarkers.
Exactly. And of course, it depends on what kind of a product you are testing or our customers are testing, what is the mode of action of the product and so forth. So you need to really consider multiple things. And always, I said, whatever kind of gut health analysis you are performing, you should always also look at the true technical data, the performance data, put it together, really deep dive, analyze different parameters.
So what are some of the main challenges your customers are coming to you with to help solve with your diagnostics?
I have started to see an increase in demand on is my product doing something to the gut integrity, the immunity parameters? Mm-hmm. That goes back to the previous question. Okay, what is the best biomarker to study? They want to showcase that their product actually is affecting, impacting already the subclinical symptoms and things like this. So that's the main thing. I don't know about different bacteria. Okay, how is the product impacting the microbial profile? 16S sequencing has been used widely in this area, but maybe people start to be a little bit, fed up with the bacteria. Oh, yeah, I have
so what I hear, right?
So what?
Right? Yeah.
So, if we are looking previous years, the majority of the analysis we conducted last year for customers, chemical analysis, like short-chain fatty acids, easy to understand, concentration levels, 10 different immunity markers, the top ones. Thirdly, bacteria.
So some of the questions I get a lot with, short-chain fatty acids you talked about, and obviously what's in the feces wasn't absorbed by the animal, but they do give us a good indication of what the hindgut's doing and what is going on in that BFA production and fermentation.
Exactly, yeah.
What are some short-chain fatty acids that you don't want to see? What are some of the indicators that something's not digesting properly?
You mean in addition to the short-chain fatty acids?
Oh, something else, yeah. What would be a couple that you would say that you got something going on with your gut health?
Yeah, exactly. So biogenic amines, like histamidine and this kind of cadaverine and this kind of substances. It links to the protein utilization and then conversion of the protein to amino acids and so forth. When the microbiota utilizes the excess protein, so it produces also different substances. So biogenic amines are the one, but also protein putrefaction products, different phenolic toxic substances, which are impacting the performance and so forth. So just to name a couple of ones.
What is on the horizon of diagnostics, do you think? What's the future? What are you optimistic about?
I think because many of our customers are looking rapid on-site diagnostics. They want to find a tool. They have a broiler chicken flock. They want to impact already during the lifetime of like 42 days, 35 days. They want to amend the diet if they see a challenge. So I think there's a room. You need to have more rapid diagnostics, but also, like you mentioned, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So having a strong database behind. Take the sample, analyze quickly, checking into the database, do actions. That's the thing.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you being at IPPE with us.
Thank you, Casey. It was a pleasure.
So, Morgan, thanks for a quick update of pork. I didn't want the swine industry to feel left out of our special trade show season episode. Obviously, I was live at IPPE and was able to record some good video interviews. I did go to Iowa Pork. I got to see you in the hallway, and that was it. But I even tried to go to Missouri Pork this week, but we spent the night in the hotel. I did meet with a Missouri professor at the hotel, so I did get some networking in. But because of the massive snowstorm we had, I thought it was best to drive home, which I was glad I did. But I heard Missouri Pork about 50% of the attendance because of Snowmageddon or whatever they're calling it. Now they're giving names to these crazy storms. So what was some highlights for you? You've been to a couple as well this season.
Yeah, we went to Iowa Pork, and it was very cold. I think Western Iowa got some snow or something. There's always seems to be something going on.
We had a dusting on the car before I went, but yes, it was cold.
Yeah, there seems to always be something going on. And I think there was a snowstorm that came in towards the end of Iowa Pork, but yeah, attendance was down this year compared to previous years. There was quite a bit of exhibitors, but as far as like just industry, contract growers or decision makers for the larger commercial producers, I would say attendance was definitely down this year. Whether that was
there. And then we'd say vendors, but they had coffee booths normally where we had vendors, and they had a lot more open space. So I don't even think they had as many vendors as normal.
Yeah, I think like the last two rows of the exhibition hall where there normally is booths were just empty. So, we all know that the pork industry has been hit hard the last 12 to 18 months with markets and, ingredient prices have gone down quite a bit over the last 6 months, but, I'm sure people are taking a hit.
Well, here's some feedback I got, from a lot of people is we have way too many shows. And I don't care what species you're talking about. I think that's just in general.
Yeah.
But, IPPE attendance was down. We still had the South American crowd, but with HighPath AI, we didn't have a lot of American producers there. A lot of vendor interactions with vendors, which is fine for me. But if you're a vendor there trying to get new business, it's not.
Yeah.
Then also, there's something that we did with Profile and Nutrition. We actually did a quiz bowl. And that went really well, went really popular. And some of this feedback I'm getting is like, we need to do something different. And I think we used to see a lot of sow farm managers, contract growers come, because they were members of the pork associations of the states. But they also used to get training. And I think we're putting on this stuff of, we're not really training, right? We're lecturing to people. And my crazy idea would be, and then we could take Iowa Pork as an example, is take out all the booths in the middle, put the equipment around the outside, because a feed additive, I don't need a booth to sell. But if I'm selling like a crate, it's nice to have that on display.
Right.
And I always thought of like, let's do some lessons, like, so we have some presentations on how to communicate to employees. We'll use all the vendors to do some mock interactions with the sow farm managers or growers, or different, and that's just one example, right, on communication, but you can think of everything like skill building that these people need, from contract growers to sow farm managers and different things. And I think you'd get people to come back, but what value is it for them to come around and get free stuff anymore? And then it's the same people speaking at multiple shows, or they're online. You can listen to podcasts. There's so many outlets for information today, where that show used to be, besides the printed magazine, used to be your information you got from a sow farm. So I really do think we need to do things differently. And I can tell you my suggestion of testing out the quiz bowl and doing live interviews from a podcast perspective, IPPE. We need to start thinking outside of the box to engage with our industry again and bringing value to them than just having a booth. I sell this, saying hello, and I get a free pin.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, the smaller regional shows that we had, we were at Minnesota and South Dakota, and those smaller shows, we had a lot of customers, and the turnout for both of those shows were very, very good this year. So, granted, there was a little bit of weather, but, I don't know if it's just a different, the way that the industry is, I don't say all the contract growers, but I would say Iowa's majority contract growers now, where, Minnesota, South Dakota, there's still a lot of smaller, 4,000 or less independent producers. So I'm not sure if that is the driver for the number of people. But yeah, it's interesting to see how the dynamics have shifted over the last 5 years.
Yeah, and I touched bases with Andy White a little bit up in Michigan. I texted him to see how it went and said, sorry, I couldn't make it up. And he had weather-related issues, too. They didn't have no shows for the afternoons because the weather was bad and people couldn't get in there. And he said he had a speaker from Google come in and kind of talk about branding. And he said didn't really probably hit the mark for most of the people that were there. Even though it wasn't a bad presentation, it just probably wasn't on mark of what producers needed to hear. And I just think about even content of, I like to go because obviously you like to see people, but, fact that I didn't have any of my pork producer people to go see, and it's disappointing. Because it is nice to just catch up, like what's going on. And I guess I don't know if we're too busy or budgets or what, but we can't even, I don't know. I don't feel it's as much family as it has been, because it used to, like, World Pork is like a family reunion. But even I think that's down from people going at times too.
Yeah, I think on the producer side too, there's we all know that there's a labor shortage within the ag industry, and so I think it's probably a lot harder for owners or even managers to leave the farm for even 24 hours if they don't have the help.
Any suggestions on making it better? Changes? Is it going to die out and just have a annual meeting for the pork producers councils in each state? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. Wisconsin specifically, I don't know the last time Wisconsin has had its own pork conference, but we have teamed up with the Wisconsin Corn and Soy Expo. So I walked through the trade show and it was mostly corn and soy producers or companies, seed companies. But we did have our annual meeting at the show, and then they do tailor some speakers for pork specific producers. And so I think, either combining, whether that's combining a poultry show and a pork show, because most of the topics are translational between species. Being able to do that, I think would probably help. a little bit. But I don't know, just providing more value, kind of like how you mentioned, like what can we do to provide value at these trade shows than just walking through and seeing what's there type thing.
Yeah, and I think the other thing walking through my disappointment, and I know it's probably market conditions, but I did talk to Rob Musser at Elanco, and it sounds like their pipeline's full. They came out with a new product, and they said, they have their pipeline full to bring out a new product for the next 5 years, which is exciting, right? But I don't really see any innovation or new product development, or it's like me too. And that also concerns me because that's usually Iowa pork is the winter launch of new products in the swine industry. And in the summer, it's world pork. And I think the Elanco's product's the only one I heard about at Iowa pork this year.
Yeah, and I mean, there has been a lot of company turnover. There's been a lot of transitions.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, within the industry, from the top to the bottom, large corporate companies all the way down to the individual producers. So there's a lot of things going on here. And I think, I don't know, I know that the election and everything that's happened in DC over the last 4 weeks has gotten a lot of different people stirred up, I should say, so nicely. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the last 6 weeks. So I don't know what's going to happen by July.
Well, I can tell you the best thing about trying to go to Missouri Pork was that the Holiday Inn had bacon, and I ate 3 pieces of the most not well done, like
Crispy?
cooked perfectly, not crispy. I don't like crispy bacon, but Casey loved bacon prepared. And I still think there's a place for bacon in this world. So I am optimistic about the swine industry.
Oh yeah, there always will be a place for bacon and sausage.
Exactly. So, well, there's several episodes coming up. We're back. Morgan and Casey. Nora's going to be popping in here or there, but we're really excited. We just wanted to touch bases on trade shows, and if I was better prepared, I could have done some live interviews as well. But until next time, everybody, enjoy a cup of coffee and stay caffeinated.